All right, welcome to Stage 4 BPT Fantasy Fishing MLF. This week, they're at Lake of the Ozarks for Stage 4 in the Every Fish Counts format in the two fantasy fishing games, the regular BPT Fantasy Fishing game and the Fenwick Predictor game. We're going to break them down both, give you some picks. Hopefully you get a chance to win a free rod and reel. In the middle part of the country where the Ozarks is located, things are finally warming up. It's a little behind, but things are finally in the upper 50s, approaching the low 60s here. It should be a very good shallow bite. Should be some fish starting to think about spawning. I think just about anything in your tackle box will play at Lake of the Ozarks. People will catch them cranking. They'll catch them on jerkbaits, swim jigs, wacky rigs, things like that. I think shallow presentations like wacky rigs, things like that will be dominant with the occasional sight fish sprinkled in. It'll be a 2-pound minimum for scoreable bass at the BPT this week, which I think there is a lot of like slightly under 2 pounds spotted bass, largemouth, and things like that in Lake of the Ozarks. So they're going to have to probably catch a lot of fish to catch 2-pounders, but I do think they will catch a good amount of 2-pounders. I think, probably 15 to 20 fish a day is going to be pretty good, and people will probably catch 30 plus, the guys at the top of the leaderboard, 2-pounders per day. So I expect good weights, a lot of action. It shouldn't be a grind like some of these other tournaments. And now let's check the leaderboards before we get into the picks. Traditional fantasy fishing game could be better. We've got some room to improve here. Let's check out the league here. If you want to join the Beat HellaBass League, there's still room to get in. There will be links down in the description below to join any of my leagues. But I've moved up a little bit. I've had some good weeks. We moved up to 75th here. Mark still holding down the top spot in the traditional league. He is in the driver's seat to get himself a Super K Swim Jigs gift certificate if he can hold on to the year end with a few stages left to go. But Rusty is hot on his tail. If you don't think you're going to track down Mark before the end of the year, go ahead. Links in the description below, and the code is on the screen to score 50% off on some awesome handmade, poured in Wisconsin, hand-tied, made in the USA, great swim jig products. In the predictor game, I'm actually not doing too bad. I'm in the top 200 overall, so that's pretty good. Warren, I think I can still catch you. Looking at the predictor game for the HellaBass League, and I'm 24th. So, Billy Johnson, you're not that far ahead. Hopefully you can keep it up, and you are in the pole position to get yourself some Super K Swim Jig gift tickets at the end of the year if you can keep making those predictor plays. With what I said before, this being a predominantly shallow fishing, you kind of have to build your roster with that in mind. But there are certain horses that catch them everywhere they go in this Every Fish Counts format, and you need some of those on your roster as well. So for my Group A, we're going Jordan Lee, Brian Thrift, Dustin Canal, Brent Ayler, and Dylan Hayes. Those first 3 guys, catch them everywhere. They're going to be able to live scope them, sight fish them, catch them shallow, do whatever they need to do. These guys always catch them. Brent Ayler, kind of a little bit back. He's starting to really figure out this MLF style thing. He's having more and more good tournaments, and West Coast guys seem to do really well in the Ozarks. It just translates really well. And then for my below 40 angler, Dylan Hayes, the BPT rookie from the Ozarks here, I expect him to have a good tournament as he's figuring out this Every Fish Counts, finding his way. This should be a breakout tournament for him. Moving on to Group B, can't go without putting old J. Will on your roster. He catches them. Kevin Van Dam, surprisingly good year, and this power fishing and the Ozarks should be a good matchup for him. I like this week. I haven't used Kevin Van Dam all year, but I like him this week. Edwin Evers, Oklahoma's do pretty well at the Ozarks. And then Zach Burge, same reason. I think he's going to figure it out, have a good event this week. And then for the same reason we put Ayler on our team, we're putting Cody Meyer just outside that top 40. So one of the best of the worst from that perspective. And West Coast vibes usually shine strong on the Ozarks. Tiebreaker weight, I think it could be like 60, 70, 80 pounds to win this final day. I think they'll really could come in at 30, 40 keeper type situation for the final day. So I'm going to go 72 pounds, 2 ounces for the tiebreaker weight. Now let's jump over to the predictor. All right, interesting one, first one here. Which Mercury angler is going to finish highest in stage 4? Crete, Crochet, Rose, or Suggs? I like Crete. I think he's got scrappy guy, loves to throw the whack rig, loves the spinning rod. I think that's going to fit well with the Ozarks. Expect him to have a good tournament. Question 2, which Missourian will finish highest? Lawyer, McClellan, Watson, or Jesse Wiggins, who's from Addison, Alabama? Come on, BBT. Is there something I don't know? Did Jesse Wiggins move to Missouri? I hadn't heard that. but it still says he lives in Alabama, and I'm pretty sure he lives next to Smith Lake in Alabama. So even if you pick him, is it right? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, I'm going with Lawyer. I think he's going to have a good event. He knows the Ozarks like the back of his hand. He's got a ton of great finishes there, and I think he's going to stack them up and put a lot of weight on the handheld scales this week. Last angler in on the Toro cut line in the knockout round. So the knockout round is when you have 20 anglers, I believe, fishing for 10 spots. So that 10th place on the knockout round, I think it's going to be over 35 pounds. That means they're going to catch like 15 to 20 bass. I think that's pretty doable. So I'm going to take the over on this one, expecting a kind of a wide open tournament this time. Big bass of the championship round, when there's only 10 anglers on the water, pretty safe bet. I think that's 4 to 6 pounds. Could somebody catch one over 6 pounds? Probably. Not super likely, but almost certainly there'll be plenty of 4 to 5.5 pounders caught, and I think that range makes a lot of sense. That's one that I feel really confident about. How many squirrel bass over 4 pounds during the knockout round amongst 20 anglers? I'm going to go with 11. Basically say 1 out of 4 of them will catch a 4-pounder. I think they're going to catch a ton of 2 to 3.5 pounders. I don't think there's going to be a ton of 4-pounders. So I'm going to go with 11. Definitely could be higher. I'm going a little bit on the conservative. I think they catch lots of numbers. I just don't know they're going to catch a lot of big fish. Final question. How many scoreable bass will the winner catch on the final round, on the final day in the championship round? I think it's going to be high 20s, low 30s. I think they're going to catch them up. I'm going with 28. So there's my picks. Hopefully these will help you suck less in fantasy fishing, and you will be on the way to getting some of these Super K gift cards. Speaking of wacky rigs, if you want some great tips on how to stop burning through those crazy fragile Gary Yamamoto Senkos, make sure you check out this video on the screen right here.